So just like corona bantandre black fungus barutte anta jara heltaralla, so ade tara series capacitance, because of the presence of series capacitance we are facing one more issue, that is called subsynchronous resonance. So what is meant by subsynchronous resonance? So what happens and what is the effect of this on our system, that we can observe. So series capacitance. So because of the series usage of series capacitance, what happens? Not only we are improving the voltages, not only we are improving the reactive power, but also we are reducing the voltage drops and increases the system stability and limiting the load dependent voltage drops, and also we are increasing steady state power transfer capability. So these are some of the other usages of series capacitors. So these are our series capacitors. So this is our series capacitors or series inductors, series reactors, we can call it as series reactors. So when we are using the inductor and capacitors in series. So this is our phasor diagram with and capacitor and without capacitor. So if we are going to use the capacitors in our transmission line or in our power system network, the phase angle between the voltage and current. This is the phase angle between the voltage and current when we are using the capacitors. So if you are not going to use the capacitor, then the angle will be increases. So the angle between the Vs and I, Vs and I will be keep on increases. So the angle between the Vs and this IR, the receiving end current, so that changes. So that changes by using the capacitor in series with the circuit. So this is the advantage of using capacitor in series with the circuit. So what happens? If you are going to use capacitor, it improves the voltages. It provides our lagging current. The lagging current is used to produce or generate the reactive power. Am I audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Fine, thank you. Okay, so the term subsynchronous resonance. So what is meant by subsynchronous resonance? So we are connecting, as I told that the transmission line is made up of RLGC factors. So along with this, we are adding extra capacitors. So we are adding capacitors in series. So these lines with the series capacitor compensation leads to into our subsynchronous resonance. So that leads into our subsynchronous resonance. So here the subsynchronous resonance nothing but we are adding the lines, we are adding the systems, the capacitors. So these capacitors used for compensation. So this compensating devices. So lines with the series capacitor compensation leads to our subsynchronous resonance. So this subsynchronous resonance, the phenomena of lines with the series capacitor compensation is called as subsynchronous resonance. So this series capacitors forms a resonant circuit. So we know that resonant circuit. So this resonant circuit with the inductance. So anyhow we are having the inductance in our transmission lines. So along with the transmission lines, we are adding series capacitors. So anyhow, there is already one inductance. There is already one inductance in our transmission line. So along with inductance, we are adding one series capacitor. So this inductance and series capacitance makes to form a resonant circuit. So this resonant circuit. So this resonant circuit will be having a compensating frequency of about 20 to 70%. So this leads to our subharmonic frequency. So subharmonic frequency comes into picture when we are adding capacitance along with the inductance. So capacitance along with the inductance forms resonant circuit. So these resonant circuits in the transmission line at normal compensating frequency of 20 to 70%. So this subharmonic frequency, the frequency that is less than the harmonic content. So the harmonic component, as we know that every frequency will be having harmonic components. So if it is third harmonic component, fifth harmonic component, So that's based upon the effect that they are implementing on our systems. So that's the thing. So here the disturbances, and one more thing is the current of subharmonic frequency. So these are all excited, and these are superimposed. So these are superimposed over a power frequency. So normally the subharmonic frequency, subsynchronous resonance will be formed by the subharmonic frequency. So these subharmonic frequencies currents are generally damped by the resistance of the line. Transmission line includes resistance, inductance, capacitance, conductance. So inductance and capacitance forms the subsynchronous resonance circuit, and this subharmonic frequency. So these are the currents that are affecting because of the subharmonic frequencies. So these are all called as subharmonic frequency currents. Okay. So the subharmonic frequency currents, so these are generally damped by the resistance of the line and the corresponding loads. Okay. So if the subharmonic frequency coincides with the natural frequency, the natural frequency is nothing but about 50 hertz. So what happens? So if subharmonic frequency coincides with the natural frequency, then automatically it shafts the mechanical system. So mechanical system will be there. So it automatically shafts the mechanical system. So the mechanical system, what are the different mechanical systems are there? So in our turbines are there, generating units are there. So these are normally called as our mechanical systems in our sub power systems. So because of this subsynchronous resonance frequency and natural frequency, the subsynchronous frequency and natural frequency, when they are both going to coincide, so at that time the mechanical shaft, the nearby the steam turbine units, so there may be a production of oscillations, disturbances are torsional oscillations. So SSR frequency and natural frequency coincide ಆದಾಗ mechanical system, normally turbines or valves, or you can call it as a generating units. So in that we may observe torsional oscillations. So torsional oscillations may be there. So these are our disturbances of our system. So these are our disturbances of our system. So this entire phenomenon is called as subsynchronous resonance. So because of this SSR, the torsional oscillations may occur in our turbine shaft, sometimes may leads to failure of the shaft as well. So because of this SSR, so SSR is nothing but our extra burden in our system, into our system. So what are the different? So that's all about subsynchronous resonance ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು. Resonant frequency, resonant circuit form ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Because of the formation of resonant circuit, resonance frequency will be formed. So that frequency is called as our subsynchronous resonance. So this frequency along with the natural frequency, we need to compensate. So at the time of compensation, what happens? The mechanical system, mechanical system, just like shaft, turbines, or valves, whatever the things are there. So there we may face torsional oscillations. So these are our disturbances into our system. So because of these disturbances, failure may be also happen sometimes. Okay. So in order to counteract, now idna kadme ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, subsynchronous resonance na kadme ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, counter attack. So there are some comparisons of series capacitors with the shunt capacitors. So what are these comparisons? So if the line voltage drop is the limiting factor, then series capacitors are useful. Okay. So series capacitance, shunt capacitance. So there will be, we need to compensate. So what are the different comparisons? So comparisons of series capacitors with the shunt capacitors. So what are those? So first one are if the line voltage drop is a limiting factor. So if you are going to consider voltage drop is nothing but amount of voltage that is wasted in our line. That is called as line voltage drop. So if we are going to consider that line voltage drop as a limiting factor, so the limiting factors which are affecting into our procedures. So which are the factors which are affecting into our smooth operations. So those are called as our limiting factor. So if you are going to consider the line voltage as a limiting factor, then series capacitors are very useful. How? So just I have mentioned that it increases system voltage capacity. Uses what are the different voltages uses of series capacitors anta. So this is the term. Line voltage drop na minimize model and effective in smoothing of voltage fluctuations. So ಈಗೇನಾದರೂ arc furnacing or welding ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ sudden voltage fluctuations ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So in order to avoid such voltage fluctuations, we can use voltage fluctuations ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, voltage we have to smooth it. So voltage na ನಾವು normal rate ಗೆ ತಗೊಂಬರೋದು. So in order to bring that voltage or in order to smooth that voltage ranges, so at the time of arc furnaces or welding, we have to use series and shunt capacitors. So if the requirement of reactive power is very small, the main advantage of using series capacitor is balancing of our reactive power and also improving of voltage stability. So if the requirement of reactive power is small, at that time we can't use series capacitor. So series capacitor use ಮಾಡೋ necessary ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದರ ಏನಾದರೂ ಬೇರೆ procedures and then different methods ಇದಾವಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Or else you can use shunt capacitors also, but we can't use series capacitors because it draws current, huge amount of current that falls passing into our capacitors. So there we can face the resonance problem. So that's why requirement another. So anyhow we are using series capacitors for improving the reactive power, but the availability is less, the requirement is less, then we need not to go for series capacitors. And line reactance, if the line reactance is high, the series capacitors should be used to improve stability. So these are one more thing. So in concept and stay clear, the concept is very much clear. So what's that concept? We should not use series capacitors if the requirement is less, the requirement of reactive power is less, and also if there is any leakage reactance is very high, so there also we should not use, because we have to avoid subsynchronous resonance. So subsynchronous resonance is nothing but we are keeping both inductance, capacitance along with. So ನೀವು ಇಂಡಕ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇಟ್ಟಾಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಂಕ್ರೋನಸ್ ರೆಸೊನೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆತರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So this is just like your as a given example now, along with the COVID, the black fungus. So just like along with the series capacitors, subsynchronous resonance. So ನಾವು ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಯಾಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಪವರ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆ ಮೋಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗೆ ಇನ್ನು ಅದರ್ ಮೋಡ್ ನಮಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಂಕ್ರೋನಸ್ ರೆಸೊನೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So we have to avoid this also. So that's the concept. And the next thing is synchronous condenser. So this is very much used and also discussed almost every time. Synchronous condenser. So synchronous condenser is nothing but synchronous machines. So whether maybe this is generator or motor without load. So synchronous machine running without a prime mover. So running without prime mover is nothing but running without load. So this is called as our synchronous condenser. So as we keep on discussing, the synchronous condenser will be used for production of reactive power, absorption of reactive power. So when connected at a bus, it can control the bus voltage as well. So if you are connecting synchronous condenser at the bus, so not only synchronous condenser, if you are connecting any of the different devices, whether it is fax devices, shunt capacitors, series capacitors, shunt reactors, series reactors, whatever the devices. So if you are going to connect them at the bus. So automatically there will be control of the voltage as well. Not only injecting or absorbing the reactive power, but also controlling of voltage. So controlling of voltage is by absorbing or generating of the reactive power. That's the one more concept. And if the load connected at the bus draws the lagging current. So what is the next concept? So how actually the reactive power absorption takes place and how actually the reactive power generation takes place. So two concepts. One is over excitation and another thing is under excitation. So in the under excitation or in the over excitation, what happens? If the field current is less than the 0. So not 0, that IF naught, that I will show you in. So this is the graph. So this is our IF naught, the rated field current. So at this rated field current, the motor or the machine that is working at a unity power factor. So if the machine is operating at the unity power factor, and that current is called as our IF naught. Okay. So if the field current is less than the IF naught, then the condition is called as under excitation. So in the under excitation, requirement of what happens in the under excitation, the lagging power factor comes into picture. So that lagging power factor. So the meaning of lagging power factor is nothing but drawing the lagging current. So when we are generating the lagging current, so normally lagging current another concept system. So this lagging current concept comes into picture when we are using anyone? So when actually the system is lagging current or leading current. So when the system is called as lagging current and when the system is called as leading current. Passing, current is passing, lagging current passing and leading current is passing. You will already know the characteristics of inductor, capacitor and resistor. You are ready? I already explained this twice or thrice. This is fourth time I am explaining the same thing. So under excitation is nothing but drawing of lagging current. Drawing of lagging current is nothing but absorption of reactive power. Absorption of reactive power is nothing but the load is capacitive. So if there is a inductive load that is lagging in nature. So if the inductive load is lagging in nature, we have to inject lagging current. So how you are going to inject the lagging current? That is by doing over excitation. So concept clear ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. So over excitation, under excitation. So over excitation, the IF is greater than IF naught. That is the concept. So when IF is greater than IF naught, it injects the lagging current or it draws the leading current. So injecting of lagging current or drawing of leading current is nothing but injecting of your reactive power. So reactive power requirement will be there only when there is inductive loads. So if there is inductive loads, it is highly lagging. So lagging ಇರೋದನ್ನ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ leading current ನ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so we are passing leading current. So how you are passing the leading current? That is just by over exciting the system. Similarly, under excitation. So in the under excitation, what happens? It absorbs the reactive power. The synchronous condenser, which is operating without load, it absorbs the reactive power. It absorbs the reactive power from the capacitive loads. So capacity loads ಇದ್ದಾಗ ನಾವು reactive power absorb ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. Okay, those where IF is less than IF naught. So this is the concept. So this is how actually synchronous condenser works. So if you are placing this synchronous condenser at any bus terminals, so this also performs voltage stabilizers, so voltage controllers. What is meant by voltage controllers? It draws the it performs, it acts as a voltage controller by injecting the reactive powers or absorbing the reactive powers. If availability of voltage is very less because of the drawing of more amount of reactive power, so at that time what this synchronous condenser does, it injects the reactive power. So just by injecting the reactive power, automatically the voltage will be get balanced, that is by drawing into leading. So if in other conditions the voltage is very much high, more than that of a per unit values, so at that time the synchronous condenser automatically acts as a absorber of reactive power. It absorbs the reactive power. So absorbs the reactive power when it is connected to bus. So absorb the reactive power just by limiting the current, by drawing the lagging current. So that is about under excitation, over excitation. And if the voltage regulator or excitation can be automatically adjusted to change the reactive power and also to maintain the bus voltage constant. So we have to keep bus voltage constant as always. Base bus, in a different type of buses ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, P bus, Q bus, PQ bus, load bus or generating bus. So these are different buses. So where we have to keep P constant, where we have to keep Q constant. So what is meant by PQ? P is your real power, Q is your reactive power. So at which bus we have to keep a real power constant, at which bus we have to keep reactive power constant. So these things we have studied. So that will be performed by reactive power balance or reactive power inject or reactive power absorb. So with voltage regulator and excitation, with the help of voltage regulator, the excitation can be automatically adjusted. So the excitation helps to change of reactive power and maintains the bus voltage constant. So that's the concept, and this is the graph of lagging power factor and leading power factor. So when IF is less than IF naught and when IF is greater than IF naught. So this is about the different instruments that we can use for balancing of the voltage and also balancing of reactive power. So the next method is we have voltage control using transformers. So we are having the transformers. So this is also kind of a method that we can use in order to control the voltage. So there are two types of transformers: tap changing transformer, booster transformers, and also phase shifting transformers. Three types of transformers are there. So I will just give brief introduction about this, so that we will discuss the remaining thing in next session actually. Okay. So tap changing transformers. So transformer, first of all, transformer is inductive in nature. So inductive in nature. So it lagging in nature. It is absorbs the reactive power. This is the concept mind it first. Then, so by using transformer, we are controlling the voltage. So first thing is the tap changing transformer. So these provides voltage control by changing the turns ratio. So this is usually done in the HV windings. So construction of transformer, construction of tap changing transformer, that should come into our picture now. So the OLTC transformers. OLTC transformers are nothing but on-load tap change. So the load is connected at the secondary side. The supply is getting from the primary side. So primary, secondary. So always remember, the primary side is nothing but, primary side means the terminals which are connected at supply side or the source side, and the secondary windings are nothing but the windings which are connected at the load side. So this is the concept. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ರಾಂಗ್ ಅಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇರೋದು ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಸೈಡ್, ಕಡಿಮೆ ವೋಲ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇರೋದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡರಿ ಸೈಡ್. Don't keep that like that, because I have seen few people. So if I am asked what is meant by primary terminals, what is meant by secondary terminals, they remember like that. Don't remember like that. So remember, the primary terminals is nothing but connected at source, and secondary terminals are connected at load. So here they are considered primary terminals with the high voltage, and the secondary terminals is at low windings. So here, in that, if you are going to operate the tap changing transformers as a voltage controlling devices, you have to tap the windings at high voltage side. Okay, at high voltage side we have to tap. So that's the first one. And turns ratio. So this is also one more topic. So what is meant by turns ratio? So ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೀನ್ ಬೈ ಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ? ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದಿರಲ್ಲ. ಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ರೇಷಿಯೋ ಅಂದ್ರೆ?
Primary winding divided by the number of secondary winding.
Mata V1 by V2, then N1 by N2, then is equals to I2 by I1. V1 by V2 is equals to N2 by N1 by N2, that is equals to I2 by I1. So these are our turns ratio. So this turns ratio should be used in order to control the voltage. V1 by V2, N1 by N2, I2 by I1. So this tap changing transformer, in the tap changing transformer, so this voltage control that will be provided by our turns ratio. So if you are going to change the turns by changing the turns ratio, either maybe the ratio of voltage or ratio of windings or number of windings, or by the ratio of current. So by changing that ratio we can change the control, so voltage. So this will be done in the HV winding and the OLTC, and also we can perform by keeping on load. So we can use on load tap changing transformers, so where the tap changing can be changed with the load. So there are two types, with the load and without load. So this diagram gives you without load, so without considering the load. And this is the equivalent circuit with keeping in load. So this is our HV winding. So these are our tappings. So tapping number 1, 2, 3, 4. So ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, just like conventional fan regulators. So nowadays we are using thyristor controlled fan regulators. So before that we were using conventional methods, use ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ, so that we were using. So where the actually potentiometers, so potentiometer ಅಂತಾನೆ ಕರೆಯೋದು ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರ್ ನ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಅದು ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಫ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಂದ್ರೆ, ಅದು ಕರೆಂಟ್ we are releasing the current just by adding the resistance. So if the resistance is less, current will be more. If the resistance is more, current will be less. So that resistance, including and removing of the resistance, done by the flowing of current in the circuit. Okay, no problem. So So that will be done. That will be done in the potential transformer. So similarly here also what happens by tapping the transformers. So at position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, we are limiting the flowing of current. So if you are limiting the current, automatically that limits the voltage. So if you are drawing the current, then it increases the voltage. So that's the concept. That's the tapping. So here S1, S2, these are our switches, tappers. So TS1 and TS2 is your transfer switch. VS is a vacuum switch, and R, these are our tapper reactors. So these are neutral. That leave it. So this is a construction of tapping. This is a construction of tapping. So in S1, this will be constant. Neutral, VS, or TS1, TS2 will be constant. So this whole structure will be tapped into 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So this will be performed on load, and this will be performed on without load. That is off load tap changer transformers. Okay. So this is the construction and working of tap changing transformers and how it actually works. Okay. So the position is set at maximum voltage first, and the switchers, selector switchers will select the tapper's position on a transformer winding. So maximum voltage will be selected, and based on that, the selector switches will be tapped the different taps. So in the HV winding, the voltage will be maximum. Okay. So that's the thing. And reactor R is a center tapped reactor, and this is used to increase the impedance of the selector circuit and also limits the current. Reactor is mainly used for the purpose of limiting the current. So reactor is nothing but our inductor. Concept is finished. So reactor or inductor. So this is used as a center tapped switch, and this is used to increase the impedance in the selector circuit and also to current in order to limit the current. Okay. So this is the thing. Let's end up here. We will discuss the remaining thing in the next session.